Good morning, guys. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm going to go ahead and read you our story of the week this week. It's called Young Frank Architect, and it is a realistic fiction story, and we've read a lot of those. Realistic fiction stories are just stories that didn't actually happen, but they could happen in real life, okay? And I'm going to go over our vocabulary words here before I read it. So the first one is floor, and this isn't the floor like you stand on. This is a different type of floor vocabulary word, and it means it's one part of a tall building. So if you go into a tall building somewhere that maybe at a hotel or a business that has a elevator or stairs, then that means it has more than one floor. Okay, so if you get in the elevator, you can go up to the second floor or the third floor. So that's what this floor is in this story. The second vocabulary word is straight. And if something is straight, it's not bent or round. The next one is designed. If you design something, you plan what it will look like when it gets made. So a lot of times when we're at school and I tell you to illustrate what you wrote, you have to plan out what you're going to draw, and then you start drawing. So you design anything that you draw. The next word is whole. If you have the whole thing, you have all of it. So if you have a pizza and you eat the whole pizza, that means you ate all of it. The next word is real, and real means if you can really see it, and then it's not fake, made up, or pretend. So real means that it's not made up or pretend or fake. It's real. It's really there. And then model. A model looks the same as a big thing, only it's smaller. And I told the kids earlier on Zoom that you can build a model of your house using Legos, or if you had, sometimes at Christmas time, you can get gingerbread house kits, and you can make a smaller house and make it look like your house. And so that would be a model of your house. It's just smaller, but it looks like the big thing or your house, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and start reading. And on Friday, you have a test over this story. It's 3 questions. So I want you to really listen to this story, and you can listen to it more than once. In fact, I suggest doing that so that you're prepared for your test on Friday, because it will get sent to me by a picture and I'm going to grade it, okay? So young Frank Architect. Young Frank's apartment is on the top floor of this tall building. He is an architect. He lives with his spotted dog Eddie and his grandpa Old Frank, who is also an architect. Young Frank makes things. He uses anything he can get his hands on. Macaroni, books, dishes, spoons, dogs. Dogs? Not Eddie. Yes, even Eddie, but only sometimes. One morning, young Frank made a chair using toilet paper rolls. Said Old Frank, I don't think architects make chairs, and you can't really sit in this one, can you? I guess not, said young Frank. He also made a skyscraper out of books. Buildings should be straight, said Old Frank, not twisted and wiggly. Hey, are those my books? Just before lunch, young Frank designed a whole city. Said Old Frank, cities are made one building at a time and take hundreds of years. At lunch, young Frank said, Grandpa, I'm not sure I want to be an architect anymore. Said Old Frank. I know, let's go to the museum. I think it will be very good for you to see the work of some real architects. Don't you? I haven't been to the museum in years and years, said Old Frank. Me neither, said young Frank. They saw lots of things, including a wiggly chair designed by an architect named Frank. Old Frank looked at it sideways. A twisted tower by an architect named Frank. Old Frank cleaned his glasses. They also saw a giant model of a whole city designed by another architect named Frank. "Are all architects named Frank?" asked young Frank. "I don't think so," said old Frank. When they got home, old Frank said, "Architects really do make chairs and twisted towers and cities too. I guess I was wrong." "That's okay, Grandpa," said young Frank. "Even I don't know some things." That evening, young Frank and old Frank made chairs. Chairs with zigzags, chairs with crazy legs, and a little chair that was perfect for Eddie. They made buildings of every shape and size. Tall ones, fat ones, round ones, and one made from chocolate chip cookies. "Eddie, don't eat the library," said young Frank, "and please get on your chair." When they were done, they had a whole city. "Woof," said Eddie. "Shh, Eddie," said young Frank. "Stay until I tell you. Good boy." Later that night, when young Frank was tucked in his bed, he felt a bit older, like a real architect. For his part, old Frank felt younger and a little wiser. "Woof," said Eddie.